All right, hello, hello, hello. We have another live reaction for you. I've not watched this before. This is going to be my live, unadulterated take between Alex from Playing with Fire. Seems to be a little bit of a Coomer degenerate. Sorry, Alex. And our boy Undead Chronic here. His big stick is Virgins, uh, which I have no problem with. The one thing I'd probably say to Chronic is if you wanted more virgins, the only real reason a woman's going to be a virgin anymore is if she's religious. So you should be pro religion, which I think he is. I think he's a Baptist Christian. Um, yeah, the only way we're going to achieve that is if we bring back some morals into our society. But anyway, let's get into it.
So, the argument that I was really want to get in on
Mhm.
is that basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to straw man you.
No, yeah, go on.
You believe that if a girl's not a virgin, she's low quality?
Low value in terms of specifically marriage and children, right? So, like, if you, that's why I asked about marriage and kids. If you guys don't want marriage and kids, you just want sex and girlfriends, then yeah, you can throw that virginity thing out the window. Who cares?
Okay, so you're saying for what? For long term potential, then she's low value?
For the production of a strong family, it's typically marriage and children. And I say marriage because like dudes are like, don't get married. If you have,
Okay, yeah, it's kind of a clever point because he's basically making the argument that you guys are different. All you want is someone to fuck and someone to have sex with. And I'm making an argument from what's actually needed for society, something higher value than just a hole to fuck. And then Alex is like, ugh, because he doesn't like that because it reveals that he's just kind of a coomer. But oh well.
have kids with a woman, at least in the West, you're practically married. So she can take you through the gutter if you have kids with her and you're living together.
Okay, because it seems like you're kind of doing you're not completely backtracking, but you're kind of changing your position a little bit. Because as far as I understood, your position was like any chick who's not a virgin is only good for just like a fucking one night stand or casual sex, and anything more than that, like you're just
Okay, but what is a girlfriend? Because that is what Chronic said. Is he said if you're looking for sex or girlfriends, then yeah, don't care about virginity. But what? Think about it. If you're not pursuing marriage, and if it never is planning to go to marriage or children, what really is a girlfriend other than long-term sex, right? I'm not saying that that's all a girlfriend is, but I'm just saying um, that's like the major reason guys get girlfriends is to have long-term, easy access to reliable sex. And yeah, sure, there's emotional whatever. She's nice to you. She's there for you sometimes. You get to hang out. She's fun to hang out with and drink with. But fundamentally, if guys weren't having sex with women, I don't think guys would really be hanging out with women. Just saying.
just a fool if you're basically going to be dating a non-virgin, which is interesting
Mhm.
because we already know that John is not really interested in having a family, right? So then if
No, he
he
said he said maybe.
right, but he's
Yeah,
maybe yeah, right. But
yeah.
if he's only interested in like whatever short-term or medium-term things, right, and you don't think that a virgin is a virgin is okay for that, then why would Liz be low quality?
Well, I'm saying low quality to me because I'm not trying to have a series of girlfriends the rest of my life because I promote having strong families. That's why I try to like, do you want kids? Do you want families? Um, it's value for me, right? I'm not interested in having like a bunch of different girlfriends, a bunch of different random hookups, having to like, shake the hand of the dude that takes my urine sample at the SED clinic. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? How's the wife?" That's not what I'm interested in.
Okay, so you're saying that so that basically she is low quality for me because I am looking for marriage.
And this is
That's
kind of annoying. Everyone talks about value. I'm just going to point this out. And the same thing applies to when people say a high value man. They're like, define a high value man. What is this? There was this clip where Sneeko Destiny and Rolo Tomasi are arguing and bickering like children over what a high value man is. And the thing you have to understand about the word value is value applies to a subject. So it's a reference to something else. You have value in perspective and in reference to something else. So I might be valuable to my employer, but I'm not going to be valuable to some random guy on the street. I may not be valuable to a church. I may not be valuable to some random people. So value is subjective in that it requires a subject to perceive the value. So Chronic is saying Virgins are low value under the reference of marriage and children, but they can be valuable under the reference of girlfriend and casual sex. That's all he's saying, and there's no such thing as objective value or objective um, like usefulness or high value. It's there's no such thing as just a high, because like even think of a high value man. It's like, well, what in what context? How much money he makes? Well, what if we are in anarchy and nobody cares that he's an engineer and he makes a bunch of money? He's not very high value then. Then it's just whoever's the tallest and whoever's the strongest, right? Or what if you live on a remote island? What if the plane just crashed and now you're on a deserted island? Is he a high value man then? No, right? So it depends on the scenario and the reference whenever you use the word value. And it's kind of annoying when people don't clear out these definitions up front, because then you get these dumb arguments which are just from people not understanding or having the same usage of a word.
And for men who want strong families, she's low quality.
Okay. So what is this argument based on? Like, why specifically is she low quality if you want a strong family?
So it's multifaceted. It's multifaceted. But the number one thing that has the statistics behind it is virgins get divorced. I think their rate is 18%. And if they take one schlong, it's 42%. I think two is 52%. Now it gets weird. I think after like 6 is like 60%, but if they had like 10 or more, it's like down to 50%.
Yeah, I would say a lot of that is probably religious. So I would say is you have I forget what that's called. Error variable associate. Gosh, what's the name for that? There's a technical name for that. Let me find it. I will be very quick. Endogeneity, maybe. It's kind of like simultaneity. Um, I looked this up just a week ago. Yeah, I think it's just endogeneity. I think is what I think is the word I was looking for. Um, but yeah, basically they have a Y correlate where it's, well, I think the reason that the virgins, part of the reason the virgins are divorcing a lot less than the non-virgins is because the virgins have a religious grounding, because why else would you be a virgin in the modern day as a woman unless you have some kind of higher moral structure? There's no real reason to. And if they have that higher moral structure, they're probably going to have a culture, a religious culture, which is going to be against divorce. So really, I think Chronic should be appealing to the religious perspective. I don't think you can do this give or take where it's like, well, I want the virgin part, but I don't want the religious part. It's like, it's kind of, I don't know.
I can't explain that, but I just know if you have 100 women, if you want to reduce your chance of getting divorced, you choose the virgin. That's the divorce aspect. There's a religious aspect, which I highly doubt you guys care about that. That's just like, that's more cultural. If you buy into it or not, it's not really a particular argument if you're not about that. And then there's well, if I'm going to have a wife, I got dudes like Chronic. I only have a 9-inch dick. What if she had sex with a dude with a 12-inch dick? Well, if she's a virgin, she has nobody to compare you to. So because there's a physical pair bonding mechanism that is not used up, but highly activated with their first sexual partner.
Okay, so it sounds like you have multiple arguments.
Yeah. So he's just talking about pair bonding, which is that if you look statistically and you look at studies and examples that are done, it shows that women really strongly pair bond to the first sexual partner they have, and then every sequential pair bonding experience is nowhere near as strong, and the majority of their oxytocin receptors are actually bonded to the pheromones and chemistry of the first person they have sex with, like pretty much for the rest of their life, up to like 15, 20 years until they eventually wear off. But by then you're 40, right? So effectively for the rest of your fertile life. And I think that's why that's part of the reason this divorce statistic jumps. It literally doubles after the first partner, is because over 50% of their pair bonding is bound to their first sexual partner. It's quite significant.
My question is this:
Mhm.
how do you know that a chick you're going to wind up with who says she's a virgin isn't
Mhm.
just lying to you?
Yeah, I get that. That's a good question. So women lie, right? So how do you know
This
she's
is actually okay. This is actually a fairly good argument by Alex, which he's basically saying, okay, that's great. You want a virgin. And I think this is a problem that the people who want virgins but they don't want to go for the religious are going to fall into. Is unless they're chasing like really like 18-year-old super, like unless they develop a really good way to find virgins that aren't religious. I don't know how many of those there are. Maybe there's like a couple shy girls. There's a couple people with like anxiety, or they're asexual. They've got some weird reason they're still a virgin. That isn't like they're ugly, right? You'll have to develop a very good way to find that. I think the easiest is just be religious. It's by far the easiest. It's like, what's the cost? You have to go to church. Oh, boohoo. You can't smoke weed and do all this other stuff, right? So it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, you're gonna have to develop some way to find virgins if you're not religious. And Alex is basically saying, well, how do you know that she's a virgin? And my reply, if I was in this debate, I'd say, well, I would look at her parents. I would look at the degree of her religiosity and how serious she treats it. And that's my very simple, easy metric that I would use to determine virgin status. And it doesn't, okay, it doesn't always work. Like, I'll admit there's some flaws with it. A lot of girls will LARP as virgins. So what you're really doing is you're looking at the family. You're looking at the father, and you're looking at how she was raised, and you're comparing her to her sisters, and you're just looking for a kind of broad stroke familial approach with that religiosity. But yeah, I'm curious how Chronic is going to identify virgins if he doesn't operate religiously.
actually a virgin. There's a bunch of different filters you can put on, and even if you use the best filter, you can still have a collar bacterium pass through the filter, and then you're shitting your.
Oh, the worst one, which I've seen Brian from the Whatever podcast do, is he'll just ask them. That's the stupidest thing you could do. It's stupid for two reasons. One, because she'll lie to you, and then you might fall for the lie. So you're basically asking her to lie to you. Please sell me a dream. So then you have a dream that you have to resist. And then the second one is you tell her, you give her, you're showing her your hand, which is that I want a virgin, and then she's going to do everything in her power to manipulate and trick you into thinking she's a virgin. Basically, if I had to find out whether a girl was a virgin or not, I would pretend as though I was okay with her not being a virgin. And then I would see if it slowly gets revealed. Because like when girls are drunk, or when she's really comfortable with you, and you can like talk about an example you might do is like you might have a conversation about sharing stories, and then the stories that you share slowly get more sexual, and then you see if she's going to share anything, and you make it completely relaxed, completely comfortable. Oh yeah, share your craziest story, and then you see what they come up with, and then you're like, oh okay, so yeah, you're not a virgin. Or you can even hear it in their language, like they'll have certain attitudes and perspectives on men that there's no way you would have that unless you've experienced a relationship with another guy. So it's like you can just tell right off the gate that some women are like, oh, you know way too much about male anatomy, to be a virgin. But the worst one I've seen Brian do is he'll just fucking ask them. I'm like, that's so stupid.
Your brains out for a week. Is she religious? How's her relationship with her father? Does she go to college? How old is she? What does she do for fun? All these things can help you verify her virginity. Like if I have a 25-year-old ex-sorority girl who goes to the clubs every weekend telling me she's a virgin, it's okay. But if I meet a girl at church and she's 18, I knew her dad for years, and she likes to knit on the weekends, she's probably, more likely to be a virgin if she tells you. Now, are there those girls out there who are not virgins, they're just lying to you? Yes, but it's just filters. Like dudes can marry a girl with a body count of 8.
Let's say time. That's the other part too. Is if you're vetting a partner long term, and as long as you're paying attention, even if she's lying, how long can that lie hold up? The way you could probably tell a virgin is there or not. Sorry. The way you can tell if they're a chameleon or not, if they're lying, is if they put pressure on you, because they'll want you to get married, because if they're lying to you to get married, then they're going to want to see a return on their investment of lying to you. So they're going to want to pressure you into commitment. They're going to want to pressure you into um, sealing the deal, or maybe even having sex way too early. And then it's like, well, they also are going to have pressure to get married, because then they don't have to uphold the lie anymore of being a virgin once they've had sex with you, and then they get to kind of relax once they've achieved their goal of marriage. And so I think a good way to tell if a woman's lying to you or not, to get just to get a ring or to get commitment from you, is to just make them wait. If they truly are about you and they're being genuine, they're not going to feel the pressure to make a dumb mistake, or start acting up, or start being weird, or start revealing and telling on themselves. So yeah, honestly, just wait. I mean, that's what you should be doing for any. I want to say wait. I don't just mean sit on your ass, but I just mean make sure that there's enough time in between you getting to know them and you starting to give them commitment, such that you get to see them in different types of scenarios. You get to see how they interact with other people, how they interact with their family, how they're out in public, how they treat servers, right? Waiting staff, what they're like when they're drunk, if they get drunk. Uh, just seeing them in tons of different scenarios. It's going to be hard for them. If they're lying, it's going to be really hard for them to keep up that lie for a long period of time. They're not going to want to keep lying to you. They're going to want that ring now. So you just got to play the long game, guys. And if you, but don't waste your time too. If you're chasing a dream, if you're chasing a girl who's clearly not a virgin, you're just lying to yourself because you're a simp, then don't waste time on a non-virgin, right? So it's a tricky game, but you got to play it right.
And it's like 50, it's like 54, something like that. There's still half of those marriages don't end in divorce. But when I'm talking to my fans, I'm talking to the community, I'm talking to thousands of men. And so here are some filters you can use to avoid divorce. But you can always get your.
Yeah, and I can't overstate the importance of the family, especially the father. Getting to know the father, getting to know the family. Just talk to her siblings. What's she like? They'll have stories. Like they'll know. They'll be like, oh yeah, she did this. Get close with the family, and that way you can get to learn all about the sibling, because they'll know everything, right? Like I have sisters who are dating guys, and I'm like, if these guys came to me, I'd be more than happy to. Oh yeah, I tell them everything. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, but the siblings have so much information. The family has so much information on the person you're dating. You need to look at the family. It's really important.
Yoinked on, you can get lied to. That's very possible. Because even if she doesn't have a hymen, some women are born without hymens. It's a small percentage. Some women regrow their hymens. Some women have a hymen, but there's a hole in it, so it doesn't bleed. So the hymen isn't also a 100% guarantee.
Yeah, no, she can lose it horseback riding or whatever. There's any number of reasons that can make a girl.
I always make the joke. I'm like, what are these saddles made of? Is there a dildo on it when she's bouncing up and down? That's the number one response about the hymen diamond thing. But yeah, she can just kind of physical activity. I don't know, hot yoga, or someone runs up and punches her in the cooter when she's 16. That could happen.
Yeah, any number of things can happen. I think the problem, though, is a little bit of a glorification of virgins. I believe, like, my argument is that you're creating in a system an incentive for women to lie to you. Because let's say a woman likes you. She's like, oh, Chronic is a great guy. I want to marry him. Well, if she likes you, she probably knows something about you, and she knows that you really want a girl who's a virgin.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't actively go out and promote that. But it's also not bad, because if Chronic's glorifying virgins, it's not necessarily that they're going to start trying to lie, because if you're not an idiot, you're not a simp, and you're using these tools that Chronic's talking about. I mean, if you're 18, and yeah, it'd be very hard to lie if you're actually paying attention. But it's actually just going to reward virgins. Like if people and men are out there who are saying, hey, we want virgins, we don't like it when you sleep around, we actually want to reward you and praise you and validate you for retaining your body for your husband. That's great. If we started giving those women, a round of applause, and we stopped making songs about whores and sluts and glorifying them instead, that would actually just make more virgins. That would make women more likely to make good decisions with their bodies. That would actually, they wouldn't have to lie. They could just be virgins. You know what I mean? They would just start pursuing the real thing, not lying about it.
So at that point, the incentive for her, if she likes you, is to lie to you, is to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I am a virgin. Like, and
Mhm.
again, I understand that if she's an ex sorority girl or something like that, it's pretty obvious that she's lying. But there's a lot of chicks who are in between. So I think the problem with that idea is that you're just basically encouraging girls to lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. Oh yeah, no, I'm a virgin. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. If she wants marriage and resources, and she knows I only want that from a virgin, there's an incentive. Now, besides all the other filters that comes up, how does she know that you want a virgin? Like, how do you bring that conversation up? Because that's a big thing too. I mean, you got to kind of put on a mask. Hey, babe, I think we're long enough in our. I've been dating you, taking you to church, whatever, and going to mass, and I feel like I need to admit to you, I have like, I don't know, 10, 20, whatever it is, sexual partners. I would just undershoot 10. So like, oh, you're lying, but whatever. I have 10 sexual partners. Is that a problem for you? If she's not a virgin, she doesn't know you want a virgin. She's like, oh, that's okay. I have two, right? So you can play that kind of mind game. Now, if she watches my videos, meets me IRL, and knows this whole deal, and can play the perfect act, yeah, there's that incentive. But there's also the fact that majority of dudes don't care about this. They don't care. They don't need a virgin. Ugh.
I mean, that's a good point as well. It's not a very high demand market. Most guys are not actually out there forcing women to be virgins. So why would they go out of their way to lie to the guy who wants a virgin, pretending to be? It's just you know what I mean. It's too tedious for women to bother with. Women who are not virgins get offended when a guy says he wants a virgin. Like all the women that Chronic debates, who are clearly not virgins, like not so erudite, Lauren Southern, they get offended. Like they get personally hurt when he asks for a virgin, which basically is a tell on them that they're not virgins. Because if they were virgins, and Chronic says, "I want and validate and promote virgins," they would actually be praising him. They'd be go, "Oh, thanks for recognizing my choice to retain my sexuality for my husband," and they'd be happy if he says that. Um, but the point is that if Chronic's dating a woman who's not a virgin, she's not going to want to try to lie to him to tell him he's a virgin. If he only wants virgins, she's going to be offended by that, and that's going to probably turn her away from him, I would say.
So a lot of guys are willing to march into the machine guns with no body armor and a stick. Like, we will marry hoes. And I'm like, okay. So, but you're right. There's an incentive to lie. It just depends on when she finds out that Chronic wants that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be interesting asking a girl if she's a virgin like right away before she gets to know you. Like, I'm assuming she would probably get to know her a little bit before you ask her like personal questions. I mean, maybe not. Maybe you're like super direct and blunt on the.
I would never ask. Never ask. There's zero reason to ask. Zero reason to ask. Because if she says she's a virgin, then it tells you nothing, because you don't know if she's lying or not. And if she says she's not a virgin, well, you don't need to wait very long to figure that out.
I think it also depends where you meet her. I think 60-70% of relationships start on apps or online. So the first date, there's that romantic
really that
intention
high?
within both of you. It's a tricky game to play. That's completely different than you knew this girl, her religious pastor or leader, her family. That's just very different, right?
Yeah, I guess my follow-up question to you would be this. You mentioned multiple times you want to start a family. How likely do you think you are to find a virgin in today's day and age? Like, how practical do you think that strategy is?
In the West, oh, I would say America is the worst place to get a wife. Absolutely. Pretty decent for making money. We have the best weed in the world. What else we have that's good? If you want to laugh at fat people, this place is great. To find a virgin, oh, it sucks. It takes so much effort to do that in the U.S. I would just say it's better to go abroad.
Right. So when you then say it's a very impractical strategy, like you're looking for something that doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, they exist. It's just a large sacrifice, right?
Yeah, so, sure they exist. I guess the better term is they're very, very rare, right? Like there's thousands, 10,000 dudes.
Well, I would say it depends where you look. That's another part too. Is it's like, oh, it's super rare. It's like, yeah, it's rare if you're on Tinder. It's rare if you're a secularist. It's rare if you never go to church. It's rare if you live in a huge city. That's where it's rare. But it's not impossible if you're looking for it in the right places. It's not like It's not like there's none. You know what I mean? You gotta be smart about it. You gotta. I would say the easiest one is join a religious community, right? Get to know some people in your church. Start talking to the parents. Set up some barbecues. Like, I'm not saying that that's instantly going to solve all your problems, but I would say if you're serious about I need a virgin, then you need to take the whole package deal, which is the high trust society elements, which is like getting to know the family, getting in touch with your community, talking to people, hanging out with. And this is the problem the red pill does: is they talk about, oh, women's are sluts, women are bad, women are this, women are that, and then when they go and make their life decisions, they hang around all these type of people that they hate. Like, they bring hoes onto their show. They're constantly on dating apps. They're constantly making content about these negative women, and it's like, if you don't like those type of women, then why are you hanging out with those type of women? Why are you living around them? Why do you live in Miami, right? If you hate hoes so much, then go to the country, go to your local church, and go find a virgin. You know what I mean? If you're really serious about it, and you're not just whining about it. That's generally my thing. Is like, most of these guys who bemoan marriage and bemoan virgins, it's just they're not even trying. They're not giving it an honest shot. And I think if you are actually trying, I think you have a chance. It's possible. It's worth trying at least. If you're in the right place, maybe. I'm not saying it's like a fix, like, oh, just go to church, bro. Obviously not, because women lie in church all the time. There's plenty of single moms who want to go be born again virgins and lie to you. And I would definitely say avoid the Protestant ones because they seem to be the most wishy washy. I would go Orthodox, Jewish, um, synagogue, mosque, uh, Orthodox or Catholic. Like, go one of those because you're gonna have, or Baptist, like strong fundamental Baptist. Go one of those because they're gonna have like an actually strong moral foundation. They're not going to be one of these wishy-washy, evangelical kind of weirdo Protestants, born again virgin types, right? Um, but yeah, before people complain, I need to see an honest effort. That's what I mean. We do have tools to select for virgins. You know, if you're on a dating app, yeah, you're not going to find a fucking virgin. It's like common sense.
Marry a virgin, there's only 500 virgins, that you have a problem in supply, right? So if more guys are looking for virgins, they're not going to find it. So then what's the other option? You just wind up alone forever.
Again, I think like 99% of people aren't looking for virgins. That's just that's not, I have no data to back that up. But do anybody that talks about that demands it? No.
Well, it's not in the culture, that's for sure. I don't hear the glorification of pure women very often. Quite the opposite. All of our music, all of our movies, all of our media, it all glorifies the opposite. It's no wonder that women become sluts in the modern day, that women throw away their virginity at 15 because the culture is basically demanding them to be whores. It's basically telling them there's no other option, right? So, yeah, no shit.
I really don't. So you said you had people come on your show before with the same kind of philosophy. Did you have like the no hymen, no diamond, only marry virgin people come on? Because I haven't seen them.
Sorta, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They didn't say it like that exactly, but
Oh.
general.
Well, it is kind of funny, though, because the red pill kind of does the same thing where it'll make fun of whores, which the implication is that you want a woman with a low body count. Even someone like Myron Gaines will admit that. But none of them are actually trying to find people with low body counts. I don't know if Chronic is actually trying to find a wife. It sounds like he's just sold on surrogacy. So he kind of holds that red pill, kind of like Myron, all of these pickup guys. They all say, yeah, being a hoe is bad for being a wife. You should be a virgin. They all kind of generally admit that. Some people say, oh, 1 to 2 bodies is okay. Chronic's more extreme. He's saying, no, you have to be a virgin. It's a necessity. No hymen, no diamond. But I don't see too many of them actually putting in honest effort to find it. They're still on Tinder and dating apps. They're still searching for hookups. They're looking for people in bars and clubs. And it's like, yeah, no shit, you're not going to find virgins.
Gist of it. And look, I want to be clear. I am not if you want a virgin, more power to you, man. Like, you're entitled to have your preferences. I like big titty girls, right? That's my preference. You like virgin girls.
What kind of girls?
I like big titty girls. Girls with big
titty. Okay, I think you said like sorority.
Titty girls. Okay. We all have our preferences. There's nothing wrong with preferring a preference. What I find is problematic is then when you then make the argument that any chick who's not a virgin is low value. That's a completely different thing than you having a preference that you want a virgin. You see the difference
Yeah.
there?
Well, it's for me. I have guys calling like, "Hey, I have this girlfriend. She has 2 dudes before me. She says she loves me. She's submissive." I'm informing you of the stats. Well, dude, you're flipping a coin, but if you think you're gonna get the right call, go for it. It's definitely hard to do. It takes a lot of sacrifice. You need to make yourself so attractive to virgins. Like people are like, "Well, are you gonna take a virgin out, and what are you gonna do? She just give a pussy." Well, if I'm trying to marry and have a family with a virgin,
That's the other part too. Is none of the all of these red pill guys are sex addicts, so none of them can actually wait. That's the funny part. Is they all want virgins, but then they try to date a virgin. And they're like, what? She's not giving me head on the first date. What? She's actually pure. She's actually anxious and nervous around sex. What? It's so foreign to them that they're like, fuck this. Even Zerka. I've heard John Zerka, just openly admit that he's like, yeah, I can't date virgins. I can't do it. Like, he doesn't have the patience for them. So I do find it funny.
I'm not trying to smash her in the back of a coffee shop the first date. I treat them differently than if I treat a girl. I'm like, I'm bored. Need to go on a date. I don't care if they're a virgin. It's different. So for me, for the purpose of, it's almost like in parentheses, they're low value, parentheses, for the production of a strong family, and parentheses.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a way more rational argument. I think that wasn't your position. Like when I was watching the stream, you were basically mocking anyone who would ever even hang out with a non-virgin. Like
hang out? Like what do you mean hang out? Like date?
Like yeah, like literally, like oh Johnny.
Okay. So I guess the argument kind of has to evolve a little bit. Chronic would be that because you could objectively say that non-virgins are low value to men at all. Because if you say they're only good for sex and girlfriends, the question would really be, okay, but does casual sex and non-commitment girlfriends and friends with benefits, is that in any way valuable? It's like saying, yeah, a turd is good if you want to fling it at somebody in the marketplace. It's like, sure, but is that valuable at all? Is there any point to that? And I would say no. I'm like, what's the point? What is the point of casual sex and hookups? What is the point of the Coomer degenerate society we have currently? What is the point of being a sex addict and engaging in that addiction? There is no point to it. There is no value in it. And therefore, women who facilitate that have no value. So, I mean, there is kind of the argument to be made there.
This Liz chick, she's not a virgin. Well, what an idiot. He's with a non-virgin. Versus now you're saying, well, for me personally, for marriage, I want to.
He's living with a non-virgin, right? He's paying her resources. So, like, the big difference is John's not interested in making a strong family.
Yeah, so, I would. So basically, to rephrase, to evolve the argument further, I would say, yeah, but is sex and casual sex, busting a nut with a woman, is that inherently valuable? I would say no. And if that's all non-virgin women are good for, then I would say they're inherently not valuable. So I would stick by that argument and say, yeah, objectively, they aren't valuable because we shouldn't be elevating busting a nut non-procreatively as something of value. It's not.
So, okay, I'll see your genes. Never, right?
Okay, so wouldn't it then be more fair to say in the initial debate, okay, well, actually, for me personally, I wouldn't actually want to be with a non-virgin, but you want something different, and that's fine. That's like that's what your position is.
I mean, if I could go back and be like, you're completely content living a hedonistic lifestyle, catching chlamydia, having chronic serial girlfriends, and history will remember you as the founder of the Vegas Pussy Massacre crew. And the fact that nobody laughed at that, how is that not hilarious? Even for both sides, like, that shit's hilarious. He didn't even lie. It's like stone cold. I'm like, that's not a roast. That's funny. It's hilarious. It's like, I wrote the joke. How is that not fucking funny?
The name itself is pretty funny. I just don't see how that proves anything. Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny.
I guess I just to you guys, I'll say to you guys, it's not cringe. To pretty much virtually everybody outside of your fans, it's like turbo cringe. It's like, dude, that's a joke. There's no way
I agree. It's cringe. I think it was a joke. Like, we have a group chat called Miami Pimps or whatever. It's a joke. It's like an inside joke. We don't actually consider ourselves Miami Pimps.
I would highly suggest you change the name of that, just given the past legal allegations, because these feminists will use anything, man.
You may be right about that. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
You gotta protect yourself.
But he doesn't have any actually strong values, Alex. So he's not going to get caught in anything. Because if any feminist comes at him, he's basically feminist himself. he sides with everybody. He's a total like play both sides of the war kind of person. He just kind of blows with the wind. But the question at this point, the argument should really evolve into, well, what actually do we value? Because saying, well, virgins are only good for marriage and children doesn't really address the point. The point should be, like, I would ask Alex, it'd be like, well, do you think there's any value to hedonism in of itself? Is having sex with a girl something you would actually consider valuable at all in your worldview? And I don't think they're going to go there because I think Chronic might be a little bit of a hypocrite if he goes down that route because he spent a lot of his time pursuing hedonism himself. So I don't know if he could really kind of go down that argument. So he's keeping it in the realm of, well, good for children and families, which, that's good enough. That's good enough. It's like, yeah, that's true. Don't start families with non-virgins. There. That's a great starting point.
That's like the difference between, I haven't watched a lot of your content. I definitely respect you a million times more than John. Now, you can say that's like half a unit of respect. Well, I got negative respect for him. I guess is that a non-real number? What is that? I? Yeah, that's not, the respect doesn't exist, but I do think that you're a little more reasonable. But like, would I want feminists to destroy you and dox you and end everything? No, not for you. No way.
Well, I appreciate that. It's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, and I appreciate you saying that you respect me because in your stream,
I don't. That... Why would you? What is this guy? I mean, he's kind of, his temperament is decent. Like, he's somewhat chill, I guess. That's really all you can give him credit for. But this guy is like the peak top tier Coomer degen. Like, he's the top of the ladder of fucking. He has no values. This guy has zero values. He's total normative, total go with the flow, do whatever. Like, this guy has not a single moral or ethical bone in his body.
I'm a scam artist, so
Yeah, I mean, it's like scam by association. Like, at least I respect your ability to have a rational conversation, but you're holding hands with a piece of dog shit. So my the Hail Mary kind of like kick six Auburn beats Alabama for me is you go, you know what, this guy's drunk in IHOP. Here he is grinding on a homeless dude. I want to disassociate myself from him. I don't expect it to happen, but there's a chance maybe.
Okay, so your argument for me being a scam artist is that I associate with someone who you perceive to be correct.
Do you sell courses?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would consider that a scam artist.
Why specifically is my course a scam?
I would think because a lot of the dudes who buy your courses and this is not just you, this is anybody who sells how to get pussy courses. What kind of guys buy that? They're the kind of dudes John was in high school: introverted, virgin, weak, low confidence. That's just.
There's also no course. Well, here's how I can prove that these courses are scams is because there's no course you can take that does what it claims to do. The claim of the course is that this will get you pussy, and anyone who says otherwise is lying. They're like, oh, my course wasn't a guarantee that you're gonna get pussy. I mean, it's just giving you information. No, people are buying the course so that they will get pussy, and you're selling it on the premise that this will get you laid. So the problem with that is there's no course that will actually significantly help you get pussy because it really just comes down to having social skills, being physically fit and attractive, and making money, being useful, having status. And there's no course that will help you solve all those things. There's no information that someone like Alex from Playing with Fire or even Andrew Tate can really give you that is significantly going to acquire you one of these three things: money, looks, status, network, social skills, that kind of triad kind of amalgamation. No course is going to be able to do that for you. A course is never going to be able to get you as an individual what it is that you want, which is female validation and attention. So it is a scam.
I just feel for those men. I wish they could just get out of the need, feeling like they can buy their way to being confident. I don't get that.
Let's assume your premise is correct, and which I don't think it is, that all the people who buy my course are whatever losers. If my course helps them be happier and get better results with women, how does that make my course a scam?
Well, how much do you charge?
$169.
Is that like for the course?
Yeah, that's for
right. So like it's a sliding scale, right? Like, is it as bad as I'm talking to John for $1,000 an hour? No way. If you're selling material for 170, I would just say it's like, someone that buys snake oil for $170. Is that a scam? If they just say it's snake oil, not so much. If you're just selling material for 170, if they're saying it's
Okay, but here's kind of the problem: is that okay? Your course isn't just, oh, it has marginal results. No, your course is that this is going to get you pussy. That's the selling point of the course. So if your course doesn't deliver that, if it doesn't get the guy pussy, or if it doesn't get him significantly closer or make a significant contribution to him getting pussy, and he doesn't get pussy, it's a scam, right? And I think we can all admit none of these guys who take your course are going to be getting pussy because they took your course. Maybe because they did the work themselves, but it's like, did they really need your course to figure out that they need to go work out and go have hygiene and go make some money? Did they really need your course to tell them like basic facets of life? So it is a scam.
going to cure testicular cancer, that's a scam.
But why is it snake oil if it's doing exactly what I promised in the marketing?
Well, here's the thing: like, you have a financial incentive to say it works. Right?
Sure, that's true.
So
Also...
any like, and I don't care about receipts. Like, I don't care. It's every single pickup artist is going to have receipts showing that their stuff works. I just think that if it's dudes with six,
but it's also like, is it because they took the course, or is it because they started working out at the same time, and they finally started going to the gym and making some money, right? Like, what's actually in the course that gets you pussy? Nothing.
That go to the gym that make six figures are all having problems with women, and you could prove that all those dudes are going to get bountiful pugniti. That's what I would need to see. If it's dudes with if it's dudes that look like John buying your courses, I'm like, no, they should be going to the gym and not spending money on courses.
Yes, I mean, you can make the argument about literally any single business that they have a financial incentive to lie. So to me, that's not a convincing argument of why my stuff doesn't work, is because I have financial incentive. You can make that argument about every single business, like every single.
Well, okay, my argument would be the people you claim benefited from your course didn't benefit from your course. They benefited from doing actual work. And everything in the course was unnecessary and useless. That's my argument.
Owner or someone who has a business has a financial incentive to claim their stuff works. So,
it's like saying I don't want to use medical because that's kind of. I was like saying dudes that go to the gym. If you go to the gym and lift a lot of weights, you'll lose weight. That's just proven by its merits, right? Now, if there are people that are using your course and they're still getting no pussy, and it might be on the other end, they lie to you, bro. Your course was amazing.
Okay. Let me logically break down why the course is a scam using logic. So we're gonna construct it in terms of a logical argument. So the first one is a premise: you get no pussy, okay, or not enough pussy, or there's a deficiency in puniti. Assertion 1. Assertion 2 is this course has valuable information. So what is your course selling, Alex? It's selling, if you'll admit, it's selling information. You're not going to physically give them pussy. You're not like, here, join my course, and you can partake in my harem, where I'll let you smash one of my bitches. No. You're not going to then give them protein powder. You're giving them information. So you have this course. You pay the course for information. So it's a valid business. That's 2. And then 3 is this information will get you pussy. And that's really where it breaks down, which is I don't think you're literally scamming them. I think you're giving them the information that your course says it's going to give them. There's nothing wrong. It's that this course is not going to be what gets them pussy, which is why they bought the course in the first place. So your business does not fulfill the need that it says it does. And if you're saying, look, these people are getting pussy after they bought my course, the examples you would be using are people who did the work, who actually made money, went to the gym, and not because they took your course. So, yeah.
So much pussy, bro. I need throw me a life preserver. I am drowning in Brazilian pussy right now.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I forgot to bring it back to logic. So you have premise 1, which is you get no pussy. Premise 2, which is that you pay money, you get access to this information. And then the third one, which is that if you have this information, you'll get pussy. So X, therefore Y. And it's like, yeah, you can have X, but it won't necessarily lead to Y. And then you say, look, These are people who did Y, or people who did X who also got Y. And it's like, yes, there are people who happen to do X and also happen to do Y. That doesn't mean that X causes Y, which is really the selling point of your business. That if you take this course, you will get pussy. Look, here's people who took the course and got pussy. It's like, well, those people also worked out. They also make 6 figures. They're also 6 feet. It wasn't the course that gave them pussy. It wasn't X that caused Y. Um, Y isn't a, or X isn't a sufficient precondition for Y. You need to actually do the work. And in my argument, you actually don't need the course at all. The course does probably nothing because you don't need a course to tell you that you need to work out and how to make money, right? The only one that might be slightly useful is like the drop shipping course. Is like at least they're giving you some kind of valuable information, but most of it can just be found on Google or YouTube anyway. You don't need to go to Tate's Hustlers University to figure out how to drop ship. Most of the information is just stolen from Google.
Because these kind of people I see are, again, vulnerable. They need to find validation and hookups, and they respect you, so they buy their course, and they want to give you positive feedback.
Sure, that could potentially be true, but again, I don't understand how that makes me a scammer. Like, what is your argument for my course being snake oil? Like, I want to hear.
If they're not jacked and have their financials in set, they're wasting money on their course. I would need to have every single else done before I. And it's like, what do they want? Do they want to know how to angle their feet to get some puniti? Yeah, maybe you guys know how to do that. I would just say, like, dude, are you going to the gym, or where's the financial? Where are you looking for? How many times you go out and just talk to women? And I don't know your customer base, but if you have people say this helped a lot, this is great, this is a great service, I can't discount that because I don't know them. I'm just telling my guys why.
Well, okay, but it's fairly obvious if you just like step out of this complex. Oh, well, prove it. It's very simple. There's no information in a course that this random fucko over here, Alex, is gonna have. There's no information. There's no letters or digital website or things he could say. There's nothing Alex could say that is gonna make a guy who doesn't get pussy get pussy. You know what I mean? It's like there's no spell you can cast that transforms coal into gold. That's alchemy. Like you're basically doing alchemy from virgin to like pussy slayer. It just doesn't exist.
The gym, put some weights up, like get your money right. Now if they're just like, after all that, I had a dude email. He's like, Chronic, I'm autistic, and I'm serious. I'm autistic, and I only have 2 limbs. How do I slay pussy every night? I'm like, I don't know how to tell you that. Like, what? Like, I can't tell you about that. But, I haven't seen.
Yeah, really, it's just common sense. There's no information or knowledge someone can give you that is going to get you pussy. And what can the course give you? The course isn't going to. It's not a boot camp that's going to get you in shape. He's not going to give you money. He's giving you information. And what information is going to get someone laid? That's absurd.
Seeing your course material, I don't want to pay for it because I'd rather buy some weed, to be honest. But I can understand why you take some offense to the scam. But these pickup artists, like as John said, there's no price for the top things. Well, you know who doesn't have a price on their product until they find out how much money's ready to be given? Scam artists.
Yeah, again, I'm not taking any offense. I'm just trying to figure out your logic, because saying that my course is snake oil, that's a pretty strong claim. So I want to hear like a solid reason for why. Now
I'd have to.
Yeah, so I'll say it once again. The business structure is a logical argument, which is that X is a sufficient condition for Y. X, being your course, is a sufficient condition for Y, which is getting pussy. My argument is that it's not only not a sufficient condition for Y, I would say X has no bearing on Y at all, in that there's no information you can give to a customer which is going to increase their chances of getting pussy by any meaningful margin. Definitely not $169 worth of meaningful margin. So it's a attack of the logical argument of your business, which is that X, being your course, is a sufficient condition for causing Y, which is getting pussy. All right, so I'm gonna cut it there. They go on for a lot more, but it's getting quite long, so I just wanted to end it there. And Yeah, that is Undead Chronic, talking about the value of virgins. And Alex from Playing with Fire. We will definitely get back to more Chronic content. I want to go in deep into some of Chronic's arguing and argument style. But that is all for today, guys. I will see everybody later. Take care.